Hello and welcome. My name is Amanda and this is my channel, Her Pacific Northwest Washington Life, and today we are kicking off the week 29 reading vlog. At the end of last week I had one carryover book, which was The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd, and I got I think a little over 100 pages read in this yesterday. I read more of this in bed last night and got pretty far, and the chapter I ended on, I wanted to keep going, but it was already pretty late. But it was a very big chapter. So I've got 103 pages left in this. I should definitely be able to finish it tonight or today. And I think it's probably going to make me cry. We have Lily, who is she's, I think, around the age of 14. I believe she hits her 14th birthday at the beginning of the book. I was trying to go back and remember, but I couldn't recall. And I just got to a section in the book where she's telling a lie, but I think she was right in what grade she was going into. In the fall, it's summer right now, the beginning of August. And the school year, she said she was going to be a sophomore, which for the US is 10th grade, and I was 15 through my sophomore year. So it's either 15 or 16 is the age range. I graduated senior year, which is 12th grade. I graduated at 17, and most people graduate at 18. My birthday was just like a month and a half after graduation, which is why I was young. So she could be a little older than I recall, but I don't remember if they said her actual age in here. But basically, I think around the age of 4, Lily's mother passed away in a tragic accident that we get a little backstory of, but Lily's dad is, she doesn't call him dad, she calls him T-Ray. He's quite emotionally and physically abusive, and I assume he was with his wife as well. So when Lily goes to school, he tells her, and I think he plants things into her brain to make her believe more of what happened versus what might actually have happened. I think there's a little bit of truth that's being hidden here and altered. So I'm not entirely sure if we're going to get the full backstory of what happened to her mom. But there was a pretty tragic accident. So Lily has been living with her dad, who is a peach farmer in South Carolina, since then. And he brought a worker off the farm named Rosaline, who is a black woman, to basically be her like nanny or caretaker. So Rosaline has basically been a fill-in mom for Lily this entire time. And this is taking place during the civil rights movement, so and in the South during that time. So definitely lots of racism present in this. Lots of I don't know, everything that goes along with that. So Lily runs away from her dad, and among her mom's possessions that she found when she was younger was a picture of a black Mary. I believe, not Teresa. I believe it was a black Mary. And she notices there in a town that she flees to, she notices these honey jars that have the same exact picture. It's called the Black Madonna on them, and she goes and finds this farm where the honey is produced, and there meets 3 sisters named August, May, and June, who work the farm, and kind of she latches onto them and starts working the farm with them. She uses it as a place to stay. They know that she's lying about what happened, but she doesn't come forward with the truth yet. She wants to keep that because she's a little scared of the truth that might come out in regards to her mom. But she has just this strong feeling that her mom was at this farm at some point, and these ladies have the answer. So a pretty sad event just happened, and I think the rest is gonna kind of go in that very strong emotional direction. So we'll see how that ends off. Other than that, the one other book I know for sure that I'm starting today is my buddy read with my friend Rainy over at the channel Rainy Day Reads, and we are reading After the Fog by Kathleen Shoup, which is about 419 pages. I think we're going to take just a week or 7 days to read this, so we should be done by Sunday, and I think our pace is going to be about 3 chapters a night, so I just need to get through the first 3 chapters. And this book tells, it centers around true events that happened in this town called Donora in Pennsylvania, where there was a factory that had, I guess, smokestacks and things like that, and the smog that came out was very toxic. So I'm not 100% sure what is going on, but it was called the Killing Fog. So it'll be interesting to kind of gain more information. And Donora is actually a town that is somewhat close to Rainy, so she is going to attempt this weekend to make her way down there. So that'll be really interesting to see. Other than that, I might start an audiobook. I landed on the first Mrs. Rothschild by, who is it by? By Yardine Greenspan. This is a translation. I don't remember what the original language is, but I think it might have been French. But this is a 15-hour and 44-minute audiobook that I'm sure I'll listen to at some point throughout today. I'm just not 100% sure when. So yeah, those are my reading plans for the day. Need to finish a book and start 2 books, so we'll see how it goes. Reading update, I just finished The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd, and I'm giving it a 4-star rating. This was just a beautiful book and definitely did not disappoint, so I'm glad that Darshell recommended this to me when we were at the bookstore together in Oregon back in March. I'm glad I was able to pick it up this month since I wasn't able to last month. And I just really enjoyed the relationships within this. I enjoyed the atmosphere, even though it's set in South Carolina in the summer, and it talked nonstop about the humidity and the heat and it getting over like 103 degrees by noon, and how like sweaty and sticky everybody was working outside. It just, I loved the feeling of the pink house and the honey house and just like the fields and going to the bee huts and everything like that. It felt like you were actually like in the house and in the kitchen with this group of characters and just being welcomed and accepted by them. It's definitely got that found family, I guess, trope in it, which I just loved. I feel like you see a lot of character growth and development with Lily, especially being a 14-year-old girl and trying to find answers to something that has haunted her and given her nightmares for basically her entire life. Just a really good story, and I would definitely recommend it if you haven't read it yet. I also started listening to just a little bit of the first Mrs. Rothschild, and I got the author's name incorrect in my opening clip. This is by Sarah Aharoni, and it was translated by Yardine. So I think that will be going well once I get a little bit more into it. I listened to, how long is this? I listened to about an hour, so not too far in. I can't really give a good update on what this is like, but I definitely wanted to give you an update on finishing The Secret Life of Bees. So now, basically just gonna finish out my day at work, and then I'll need to practice my violin. And G released a vlog today that at the end of had the prompts for the NAWT's year 3. So I went to the PDF. I watched the whole vlog and listened to her explain the prompts, but I went to the Google Docs drive and wrote down all of the prompts for the subjects I need to complete for my NEWTs, which is a lot. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I need to get an outstanding in, which means I need to read 3 different books, and 1 that I need to get exceeds expectations in, which means 2 books. So I think that's a total of 17 books right there that I should read in August to be on my way towards becoming an alchemist. Not sure how likely that's going to be because, as I've mentioned multiple times, I do start school back up on August 1st. So I'm going to have to strategically plan my TBR with books that I think I'll be able to fly through quickly during the month of August, since my reading time will be less than what I'm used to for right now. So definitely at some time this afternoon, I want to kind of go through and start planning out what books I want to read. As I was reading the prompts, there were a couple that I was like, oh yeah, I can read that book and this book and that book, but there's a couple of them where I need to actually go flip through and look at what books I have. As always, my priority is going to be reading books off of my TBRs, so whether it's my physical, my Audible, or my Kindle TBR. And then if I don't have a book off one of those TBRs, I will fit in a book by probably searching a list. I usually go to like the Goodreads list to find if I don't have a romance, say, and I need a good romance option. So that's what the rest of the day is looking like. I'm hoping to get much more reading done today and planning, because I really enjoy planning what books I pick up for readathon. So I might share that, just a little like sneak with you tomorrow once I have it figured out, but I will be doing a video on my NEWT's TBR, since I've done one for every magical readathon. Readathon. So I will let you know what I come up with. Alright, so it's been a couple days and I'm overdue for an update. I am still listening to the First Mrs. Rothschild, and I've got about 7.5 hours left. I'm listening to it on like a 1.75 speed on Audible to try and get through it as quickly as possible, because I'm honestly not really enjoying this book. If I were smart, I would just DNF it, but I like to complete things. So this one's okay. It's just kind of like a familial drama book, told from the perspective of Mrs. Rothschild, who is wife to a wealthy Jewish man living in the Judengassen in Frankfurt, which is basically like the Jewish quarter part of town. And he has built himself up and made a really good name for him and his family. They've got a boatload of kids and a boatload of grandkids that are coming in now, and their business just keeps expanding and all that. And basically it's a story told from Guda is her name. I was pronouncing that way wrong. From her basically like diary or journal entries about just just the marriage, just the bringing up of the kids, when a new kid joins the family, when her husband makes some really good like business decisions and things like that. So it's just, I'm not sure if it's the story I don't like or if it's the storytelling I don't like, but it's probably a combination of things that I just don't find the most intriguing. So I'll be glad to have that finished. Probably tomorrow, maybe. But other than that, I am also still reading After the Fog. This is my buddy read with Rainy, and I am enjoying this buddy read so much. We're doing about 3 chapters a day. So we've done through chapter 9. I need to get through chapter 12 today. And I'm enjoying this a lot because buddy reading it with Rainy is adding so much more to the story because she has she lives about 2 hours from this town of Denora where the story is set. So even though it's obviously different time period, this takes place in the late 1940s, early 1950s, I believe. I know it's after World War II. But it's still in that Pittsburgh area, so there's a lot of Pittsburgh slang within there and references and things like that that I probably would have thought were more based off the time period versus based off the location. So it's been really fun having Rainy fill in the blanks, helping me pronounce things and just giving me like background information on the slang and like weird things that are common to the area, like a toilet in a basement is apparently called the Pittsburgh toilet. So that's been a lot of fun, just buddy reading with her. As far as the story itself, I'm really intrigued by it. I'm almost halfway through now, and the big like killing fog event hasn't happened, but it's about to happen. It's basically kind of following like a day by day sort of progression with Rose, who is our main character that we follow. And she is a nurse in this town. She has a husband and 2 twin, I think they're around 17, 2 twins. There's a boy and a girl. There's Johnny and Magdalena. They also have, I think it's got to be her husband's uncle and his aunt living with them. And then they also have her husband's brother, wife, and their young son living with them. The brother's wife is named Sarah Clara, and she's absolutely useless. The brother, who is named Buzzy, is a gambler, and he keeps needing Rose and Henry to bail him out, so they like literally can't move forward with anything. I really like their son though. He calls Rose Sweetie, which I think is so cute. And there's different things that are going on with the twins. The mom was an orphan, so she had a really, really difficult life growing up, and she's always longed for a family. And she really wants to like teach and instill in her kids that they don't have to be stuck working in the mine or the mill, that they can, with education, be so much better and have a better living, earn a lot more money, be independent, and all this other stuff. But Johnny really loves music, and he wants to play music, and Magdalena has something else going on that I'm not going to say what, because I don't want to spoil anything. But we've got some pretty poor communication going on. I think Henry's hiding something other than Magdalena's secret from Rose, and Rose has a secret that she has kept basically since she was 15. She's never told her husband, and that secret is coming to light. So she's struggling with that internally as well as what's going on around her. So I think stuff's gonna hit the fan here really soon. So you've got poor communication and also really poor listening as well. Rose is so set on her plan she has for everybody in her life that she won't listen to anyone else. But other than that big flaw of hers, I really like her. She's just really, you can tell she's got such a hard shell on her, but she just has a heart full of love and she really does want the best for her family. She just thinks she knows what's best for them. But I'm really enjoying that book and I'm excited to see where it goes next and what other things unfold. And then other than that, I did yesterday, I picked up Unforgiven. I have had this as a hold or a wait list. I've borrowed it probably a million times now from the library. The last book in the Fallen series by Lauren Kate, which is called Unforgiven. And I was going to last night start reading the Kindle edition because that's all I could find through my library, and through Scribd was the Kindle edition. Actually, I don't think Scribd even had the Kindle edition. And then I decided, well, I got like a paragraph in and I was like, I just can't read this. Like, I'm either going to have to listen to it or just not. So I checked Audible and they had the audiobook, and so I decided that I would buy it with a credit, knowing that I was also going to return it because it's not a book I wanted to reread, but it's a series I wanted to finish. So I started that yesterday and I just finished that. I'm giving it a 2-star rating. This one is a companion novel, so it does take place after the events of the last book in the actual like core Fallen series. But instead of following Dan and Luce, this story follows Cam and Lilith. So it was okay. It's kind of set in a school. Cam's trying to make a deal with Lucifer to basically break his never-ending cycle so that he can live a mortal life with Lilith. That's her name. So yeah, it was okay. We've had a high school setting, kids in a band, so it was kind of fun. But not a lot to it. So I did finish that, which is nice. I believe that's all for my reading updates. Yeah, I got a package today. I don't remember if I talked about this. I think I talked about this when I was wrapping up The Secret Life of Bees, but maybe I just thought about saying it afterwards. So apologies if this is repetition, but something you may not know about me is that I really like bees. I think it would be really cool to have bees, but at the same time, I'm not a big fan of honey, and I'm not quite there with my diet, but I want to be plant-based, and honey is not vegan, so there would literally be no point to me keeping bees because I wouldn't feel right about selling the honey, and I also wouldn't use the honey. But I love just watching those fat little bumblebee butts flit around on my flowers. I've got heather in the front yard that I usually use as like B-roll that the bees just absolutely love. It makes me so happy when I'm out there watering and knowing that like I'm giving the bees some water and stuff. I've also got a butterfly bush in the backyard that they just love. So I really like the nice bees. And I ordered some washi tape from Bloomskull Paper Co., which you may know is one of my favorite places to get washi tape. And I ordered it because the release had bees on it. So I'll show you the extras I got and then I'll show you the washi tape. So this is the journaling card that came with. It's got gold foil on it, and there was a washi tape pattern that had the Fashion Girls on it that I didn't get because they were a vertical orientation on the washi tape, and I mostly use it as a horizontal orientation. I also got some die cut stickers, so just really pretty flower clumps. There's a crown, a honeycomb and flowers, and then this cute little bee, all with gold foil. And then the bee washi, I only ordered these 2 rolls, which are, I think, 15 millimeter. I am using them for my August monthly view, so I'll show you what they look like rolled out here. That's what they look like. So the top one has bees and bows, and the other one is just flowers. I also ordered, I don't know the names of these, so apologies for that, but there's this autumn, I think it's Autumn Dawn is the set. It's like a 2.0 version. You've got a little deer and her baby, flowers, bows, and then this one is kind of like a rose with leaves sort of thing, and that's in a rose gold foil. And then I've been eyeballing this set, and I didn't want to pick it up, so Corinne did a new thing on the website where you can order, instead of ordering a full set, you can order individual washi rolls, and that's what I've been waiting for. So I got this, I think it's called Lovebirds, but you've got your birds there, and then some more floral, and this has like a pink holographic foil on it, I think. So I got that. I'm gonna be off work here in about a half hour, a little less than that. So I'm gonna keep listening to the first Mrs. Rothschild and finish up my day, and then set up my planner spread for the NEWTs, because I will need to film my TBR video next week and have it up next Thursday. And I also want to get organized because I just have notes written down on little scrap pieces of paper right now. So I want to get everything in place. So yeah, that's going to be it for the moment. I just finished the first Mrs. Rothschild, and I'm giving it a 3-star rating. It barely scraped a 3-star rating, but it was just kind of okay, middle of the ground for me. I liked the storytelling and the writing style at first. I thought it was really interesting to be told all from Gerda's point of view in letter format, or not even in letter format, it was in diary or journal format. But it just got a little redundant. You don't see, like, you see the characters grow and develop, but it's all one-sided, so I never felt like we got like very well-rounded characters or anything like that. But overall, the story was interesting enough, and it was just okay. So I am about to start on audiobook Pacifica by Kristen Simmons. I got this book. It was published in, I think that letter might be dated. No, it's not. It was published, I want to say, in like 2018 maybe, or maybe 17. 2018. And I got it in a Whimsify subscription box, and I believe that company is no longer around. And this is a kind of dystopian style story where basically the planet is overtaken by water. It kind of reminds me of Waterworld, and I think where the people, I think the land is like just becoming overpopulated. So there's a lottery where 500 people will get to be the first to go leave the polluted and dilapidated homes behind and start a new life. And there's a girl whose dad is kind of, he's not a pirate, but he's kind of like a pirate. He is a pirate. And he's sailed the seas, and she knows there's nothing out there, so she doesn't know where these lottery winners are going. It's a book I've put on multiple TBRs and just never got around to, so this is the last chance I'm giving it if I don't listen to it this summer, because I'm not going to want to read it in like the fall or winter, then I'm unhauling it. So I noticed there is an audio book on Scribd, or an audio recording, so I'm going to start it and listen to it that way, and then I'll have it done. I hope it's good. I mean, nobody really picks up books hoping they're going to be bad, so we'll see how it is. I last year or the year before did a try a chapter tag when I was trying to figure out what book to read next. So I remember like the first chapter of this, I think, as long as I'm not confusing it with something else. And it seems intriguing, so we'll see how it goes. Skylar is going to be home soon with the kiddo and the kiddo's cousin. So we're having a sleepover with her tonight and taking them to Northwest Trek tomorrow, which is a wildlife refuge, kind of, I want to say. I've been there before once when I was in my early teenage years, and at that point they had a tram, but the tram is not running right now. They also have a lot of kids activities that aren't running, and like zip lining and stuff, so you can either do a drive through the park in your car, or they have a walking path. So we're gonna do the walking path, but I just want to show you what I've got Maddie's bedroom set up looking like for the kids to have their sleepover tonight. I've got 2 cots here. These are actually, oh, and excuse Maddie's laundry, he has to fold it when he gets here. But these are actually my parents' cots. They've been in our garage for forever. My parents aren't using them anytime soon, but they fit perfectly under his bed like this. So I've just got them pushed together. I've got 1 blanket on top. If they get cold, it's a little chilly, they can obviously take some from Maddie's bed, but I know he's got some special blankets up there, so not sure he wants to share them. And then I've just got my sleeping bag, and Maddie and I both have these I don't know, sleep pads. So just to give them a little extra comfort. When I was growing up, whenever we would go visit my mom's sister, they had 3 kids of their own, so all the adults would get beds, one of the kids' bedrooms, and my brother and I always got to sleep on the cots, and I have just such fond memories of that. So I hope Maddie and his cousin have fun. But anyway, they should be here pretty soon, so I'm gonna finish my chores around the house. I need to vacuum the couch because the dogs have fur all over it. And then I'm pretty much done. I'm gonna do the dishes. And while I'm doing all that, I'm gonna listen to Pacifica. So I will probably give you an update on it tomorrow, and then take you around with us, probably just on my cell phone. I'm not gonna bring my camera, as we go look at the critters and things tomorrow. So lots of fun things to look forward to. Why do you look like you're in trouble? Are you in trouble? What'd you do, Aoife? You're not in trouble. Are you in trouble? What'd you do, Ronan? And just like that, we are another week down. So yesterday I didn't talk to the camera at all, but we took Maddie and his cousin to Northwest Trek, which is I think it's a wildlife sanctuary sort of thing. I don't know. I know a lot of the animals they have were injured, a lot of them injured in the wild, and they can't survive out in the wild anymore, so they are now rehomed to live in the park. But we did the walking tour with Maddie and his cousin, so we got to see some pretty neat things like golden eagles and bald eagles. We saw a snowy owl. We didn't see the lynx, bobcat, or cougar. They were all hiding, but we saw some foxes, bears. We didn't see the wolves, but other than that we saw like a skunk and some badgers, otters, not porcupines, beavers, and raccoons. I think that might be it. I might be missing some, but it was pretty fun. A nice day, not too hot, lots of trees on the walking path too. So it was nice to just be out and about and see some critters that you don't normally get to see in the wild. And then today we basically just hung out next door at my parents and played some games, sat out on their back patio. Got to see my brother, so it's just nice kind of relaxing days outside. I probably have, I think I'm like 85% of the way through After the Fog, so I have maybe an hour, hour and a half of reading left to do in that. Rainey did get to visit Donora, Pennsylvania yesterday, which is pretty cool. She said the town was pretty run down and a little sketchy. Lots of the shops were boarded up and had like bullet holes in the windows and things like that. So it sounds like a place you don't really want to be at nighttime, but other than that, she got to see the Smog Museum, I think is what she was mostly aiming for, but that's closed currently. But she got to see the kind of uneven streets. They're at different levels and things like that. She said there's a lot of stairs, lots of hills, and she saw one of the streets that's mentioned in the book, which I think is pretty cool. So I got to see a little bit of that. It's crazy to see. She sent me a picture of just kind of like a view of the town, and it's crazy to think that that at one point for like a 5-day period was entirely covered in smog, that you couldn't even see your hand stretched out in front of you. It was that bad. But I'm learning a lot with this book. It's a really interesting, also very sad historical event that happened. I think it was something like 3,000 or 6,000 people were affected by the fog, and 20 people passed away because of it, and it was people that had respiratory issues to begin with. But yeah, it's really sad. It's really frustrating to read through. The family is just breaking apart, and communication is just awful, and you really want to shake these people and just say, get it together, you guys love each other, you need to be there to support each other. So it'll be interesting to see how it wraps up. I also am still listening to Pacifica. I am through chapter 8, so I will be able to finish this probably by Tuesday. And then I don't know what I'll pick up next. We'll see. But overall, I'd say I had a pretty good reading week. I've got 2 books to carry over. After the Fog and Pacifica. After the Fog will definitely be finished tomorrow if I don't finish it tonight, which I might. So yeah, really good reading week. Summer finally decided to show up, so all around it was not too bad of a week. I hope the week was great for you all as well, and as always, I would love to know what you picked up and read during the week. So if you feel so inclined, please do let me know down in the comments below. I will chat with you there until my next video. Bye!